Hello again, it's me, Joe Alvarez, and in today's video, this is the beginning of a new series I'm working on, where I explain to you all future movie ideas and TV shows I'm working on, and I talk about them. So, in this episode is about a Transformers series I really want to make, and involves with Universal Monsters. Now, how did I come up with this idea? Well, it all started when 2021, Transformers decided to make a collaborative figure based on the 1930s horror movie monster Count Dracula. And when I first saw it, I was like, wow, and then it was at a time where I actually, before, I really liked collecting these Transformer collaborative figures, because it's kind of interesting of how these Transformers would look like if they ever came across some pop culture icons. So I wanted to continue collecting again. So after I saw Count Dracula's, I wanted to continue collecting. Because before I had the Back to the Future, X-Men, and Ghostbusters. And then, now funny enough, Count Dracula is the only collaborative I am missing at this moment in time. But hey, what do you know? I will probably get it for my birthday. Anyways, we won't get into that. And then as of last year, they came out with a Frankenstein Transformer, Frankentron. So I really like that. Anyways, and later in this video, I will explain particular designs of the monsters, what is the overall story about, and what I plan for this series. So, with the story, it's just basically the regular Universal Monster stories, but as told in Cybertron. Like, how would that affect? And obviously the actual Transformers characters like Optimus Prime, Shockwave, Megatron, Bumblebee, they'll all appear. And of course, I also plan them to be like replacement points of some regular human characters that appear in the regular Universal Monster films. Like, I plan to have Shockwave as the scientist that brings Frankentron to life. Or plan to have Bumblebee to be Renfield. And yeah, because based on their personalities, it kind of gives me an idea of what the roles could be in this particular series. And each episode I plan to have like particularly based on each of the monsters' story, but told in there. And then after that, I plan to have like how Count Dracula is back and wants to take over every Transformer of all time, like become the mind control master of Cybertron, like to rule all of the Cybertronian Transformer race, and using these monsters to help be his army. And of course, episode 1 is about the story of Dracula and Bumblebee as Renfield. Basically the same story of Dracula, but told from Bumblebee, and then at the end, Bumblebee learns his lesson not to really trust, and then somehow Dracula's back, and then starts knowing about other monsters that's happening on Cybertron. And so forth, continuing on down the line of the other Universal Monsters as Transformers, like Frankentron, and yeah. And as for overall design of the monsters, I just still keep Draculus and Frankentron, because I really like their designs. I wouldn't change a thing. And I believe this is I'm going to call this as a prediction. As of this year, Hasbro has a listing of 3 collaborative figures that are out. Project Knight, Renaissance, and Tails. Now, Renaissance is already confirmed to be Ninja Turtles. But my prediction for Tails is either, well, now it's going to sound weird, but Sonic the Hedgehog in the Tornado Airplane, or as if they keep doing their idea of Universal Monsters each year, I'm pretty sure Tails might be the Wolfman. Now, if I know by Hasbro, by retooling characters already before, like how Dracula's is Mind Wipe, or Frankentron's Impactor, my prediction is that the werewolf would be either a Decepticon Forever Ravage retool, or a Headmaster's Weird Wolf. And that's my overall idea of how the werewolf transformer would be. And now, since there is no idea how I would do the other monsters, I already found. So apparently back in the 1980s, Transformers wanted to do a Universal Monster thing already, including Dracula, the Gill Man, or the creature from the Black Lagoon, and the Fly Man, or whatever. That nobody really cares about that one in the Universal Monster roster. Anyways, I want to continue that Gill Man idea, or just reuse that concept art and just change it up a bit, trying to make it more of like a Cybertronian reptilian looking sea creature. Like I planned, of course, as the concept shows, it's like a mechanical fish, and I want to just change a lot of stuff, like maybe giving it a longer tail, some spikes along the back, and maybe even some like a monstrous looking face, and the ability to turn into like a Cybertronian piranha or something. That would be interesting. For the mummy, I imagine that the mummy would be like a Cybertronian cobra, because the reason why I pick a cobra specifically is because in Egyptian times there wasn't really vehicles around that time, mostly animals, unless chariots you count, but I don't know much about Egyptian stuff. But I'm pretty sure cobra would be my number one pick for the mummy. And I just plan, just like that one character from Beast Wars 2 or Beast Wars Neo from the anime Beast Wars, that one snake character, I plan to have like just the head of the snake transform into the mummy and have the tail just transform as its weapon, or in the mummy's case, the staff. Because I just thought it'd be interesting, just a wrapped, like a Cybertronian looking snake with a white wrapped up looking bandaged face with a golden body. Now that's a good idea. And for the Invisible Man, I saw this image on Safari of someone calling it the Invisicon. I really like that name, so maybe I could just use that as the name. But for vehicle-wise, of course, it would just be completely invisible. But for vehicle, I'd probably imagine a combination of a Cybertronian style of vehicles or cars that came out between the 1930s and 1940s era of vehicles. And a robot mode, I imagine that it would be just completely invisible with some tints of like red as of its robe, and maybe a wrapped bandaged head with the goggles, and maybe some headlights on it, like glowing. And I plan to do, in this particular next monster I'm going to talk about, I plan to have the reason why for this particular one for existing, because I wanted to like also mess up with Optimus Prime. So I wanted to also try to bring in the Bride of Frankenstein, and I was like, well, it's going to be hard to figure out without it like actually being like a love interest in Frankentron sense. I mean, I could bring the love story back, because I mean Transformers already did love stories before, like Air Razor and Tigatron from Beast Wars, and in that same continuity, Black Arachne and Silver Bolt. We won't get into that any now. So I had the idea of messing up with Optimus Prime by bringing in Elita 1, who is dead in this universe, and having Shockwave bring her back as a Cybertronian monster. And the reason why they needed two Frankentron monsters is because with their electric abilities, they need two to help power up a machine, so Dracula's could release a plague that could warp the minds of Cybertronians. That's why, and the more I think of it, is like, man, this would be a good idea, so we can also have like a bit of a personal problem with Prime, which will urge him want to kill Draculus even more. And yeah, that's that. Wow, so I hope you really enjoyed this idea. This has been a kind of a passion dream I really want to do with, like, because look, let's be honest. Transformers TV shows now are kind of losing their touch a bit. I mean, let's be honest. Earthspark is not really that good, but it's still decent and alright. But don't get me wrong. Some designs are cool from that, and there's the worst. So, with this, I hope that once I become a filmmaker, I hope I can bring this Transformer show to life. I want to bring a bit of something more of a thriller and a bit of a dark urge on Transformers. And why not do it best by using the Universal Monsters? And If that doesn't work well, I'll try to figure out to make something to incorporate that. All right. That's about it for my video today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you can like, share, and subscribe to this video. Have a nice day.